50 fraternity members have died in the last 5 years from a hazing incident at the fraternity house, as stated by Jeremy Scott on Bloomberg.com. Our society should not be letting this happen. Fraternities nowadays have a lot of power. Power over students and even power over the school. How can a club control a university? Incidents at fraternities have caused pain to students and their families. Situations are created that the young men are unable to get out of and leave them feeling helpless and getting hurt. Our students should not have to go through this to be successful later in life. I have witnessed my brother and a close friend go through fraternity recruitment and heard stories from my father firsthand of how their experiences have been. Fraternities should not be allowed to get away with hazing and killing the students. Our society must put a stop to it. A lot of schools overlook the issue of hazing. They do not see what fraternities do. They do not see the drinking, the drugs, the alcohol, and the hazing is the main thing. In an article published by The Atlantic, the author Caitlin Flanagan describes this as shadows of private disciplinary hearings and silent suffering. So the universities just try to hide when something does happen and push it under the rug and do not make a big deal out of it. In general, fraternities have a lot of power. They have more power than the actual university, the president of the university, everyone involved. In the same article as Flanagan states above, the majority of fraternity-related deaths occur in and around fraternity houses, over which the schools have limited and widely varying levels of operational oversight. So they have no clue anything about the houses. They don't regulate anything to do with them, and they basically let them do whatever they want. So fraternities got most of this power from the network they've built over the years, including their alumni, what the alumni give back, and a lot of people in high-up businesses are a part of fraternities. In another article from The Atlantic called Death at a Penn State Fraternity, Flanagan described how fraternities tie alumni to their colleges in a powerful and lucrative way. So basically using the alumni to get what they want and build up their power. Many deaths have happened very recently from this. ABC News reports on the death state George Desdunes at Cornell University died after being forced to drink. Tim Biza from Penn State University died from a drunken fall this past February. At Florida State University, Andrew Coffrey died at a fraternity party. Max Grover died from hazing at Louisiana State. These are all very recent incidents. They've all made it very high up in the media and have gotten a lot of attention. We must come together to raise awareness. We must try to give the power back to the universities so they have a chance to fight the hazing, so they have a chance to stop all these deaths. In Flanagan's article, The Dark Power of Fraternity, she says, they also have a long, dark history of violence against their own members and visitors to their houses, which makes them, in many respects, at odds with the core mission of college itself. So basically, the fraternities have taken over it, made their own rules, and just disregard what the colleges have to say. Amy Wang, a reporter from Quartz, says that much of the policy governing college campuses today is rooted in the loose soil of a set of political and social fashions that change with the season and that tend not to hold up any kind of penetrating challenges. So again, how the rules that are at colleges now do not have any effect or control over what the fraternities at those colleges are doing. A little bit about the counter argument. A lot of people say that these things that happen, the hazing, the drinking, and a lot of the things that fraternities do are all grouped into one category called, and they call it tradition. And a lot of people think that or know that this has been around for a very long time and do not think it should or will change. The New York Times Ian Lovett's article talks about why they are getting away with it. They ensure that freedom of association language is included in all higher education reauthorization legislation, thus disallowing public universities the ability to form to ban fraternities. So again, using loopholes to get away with very bad things. The survey I conducted stated that 92% of the students in this class are aware of what is going on and have seen it on the media. Only 53% thinks that our society hides what is going on, so that is good, and it means that the media is getting the word out. A lot of people do agree that the media is hides it a little bit. They mainly report the big stuff, the deaths, and they don't report the little suspensions, the little hazings, because a lot of fraternities do get caught year after year for these incidents. And again, people in the class do think that this is tradition and it shouldn't change. There are indeed schools that have taken action and have been successful with stopping the hazing, stopping so much drinking, stopping even deaths from happening. New York Times reporter Ian Lovett reported Brian C. Warren, Chief Executive Officer of Sigma Phi Epsilon National Organization, said that 30 chapters have been ousted in the last 10 years, and during that time, the fraternity's grade point average has gone up while legal claims have decreased. So basically, the trouble the fraternity has gotten in has almost vanished, and overall, like, education levels and scores have gone up, which is a very positive thing, and no one can argue that that shouldn't be happening. In the magazine Quartz, author Amy Wang wrote about Harvard's status on fraternities. She said, faculty committee yesterday released a 22-page report recommending that the university forbid students entering in the class of 2022 and beyond from joining fraternities, sororities, and similar organizations. We have not seen the effect of this yet, but it is a huge step forward for a very high up university that is taking a stance against this and is not putting up with it anymore. CNN's Melissa Gray reported this morning, November 17th, about OSU taking a stance on this issue. She said, as a result, I am hereby suspending all social recruitment and new member activities and interfraternity council chapters until further notice effective immediately. So Ohio State has officially suspended 11 out of 36 fraternities on their campus. They got very fed up with so many incidents, so many people getting in trouble, so many fraternities doing bad things that they just suspended a good amount of them to try to make a difference. Ohio State said the move was not based on any specific case, but instead on a high number of investigations. Ohio State took action before something truly terrible happened. There was a trend of bad things happening, and before anyone could get seriously injured or die, they stopped it, which is what a lot of other schools need to be doing too. Julia Jacobo from ABC News reported Florida State University's fraternity suspension. However, they were not so lucky as Ohio State. They took action after a pledge died just 2 weeks ago on November 3rd. Many schools are like Florida State, and that is one thing we really need to change. This is not the kind of environment students should be in. No one should be forced to drink or go through hazing to feel a part of a group. We should not be given so much power to fraternities. We need to support the schools more. Encouraging universities to do something before someone gets seriously hurt or dies is what will help. OSU and fraternities like Sigma Phi Epsilon are seeing positive results from stopping it. The pros of fraternities, the money they raise, and the network they have does not cancel out for students' time. I have a lot of graphs for visuals. Here's one of them.